With the recent election results in the US, I wanted to release this episode first, given the impact RFK Jr.'s appointment has on the lives of the American people, and also my guest in this episode. She's one of the most inspiring women I have ever met, overcoming circumstances many people would not have, only to turn her life around completely, taking what she's learned about herself, about health, about wellness, about addictions, and about the toxins in our food, our medicine, our water, and our environment to help families from all walks of life transform their lives and detox their homes. As the founder of Make Kids Healthy Again, my guest is so much more than a health coach. She is an advocate, a passionate guide, a woman living by example of what's possible when we refuse to settle for less than true healing. And through her work, she's not just changing lives. She's changing the conversations and the limiting beliefs around childhood health, empowering parents with tools and knowledge to reclaim their children's well-being naturally. We had every intention of making this a video recording, but suspiciously, the tech kept failing on us every time we spoke about, those topics. So after the third go at hitting record and using a different platform, we were able to get an audio recording to hold. Check out this clip from the powerful episode I recorded with the incredible Allie Christine and head on over to Spotify to catch the full episode. With gratitude and grace, have a wonderful day, my loves. Hello listeners, thanks for joining another episode of the Skin I'm In podcast. I'm your host Chanel, and this is a place where women can tune in to gain peace through clarity, purpose through inspiration, and the permission to be themselves through the stories of other women. If you're enjoying these episodes so far, click the like, share, and subscribe button so that more women like you can be positively impacted by the stories in this podcast. My guest today is one of the most inspiring women I have ever met, overcoming circumstances many people would not have, only to turn her life around completely, taking what she's learned about herself, about health, about wellness, and about the toxins in our food, our medicines, our water, and our environment to help families from all walks of life transform their lives and detox their homes. As the founder of Make Kids Healthy Again, my guest is so much more than a health coach. She is an advocate, a guide, a woman living by example of what's possible when we refuse to settle for less than true healing. Through her work, she is not just changing lives, she's changing the conversation around childhood health, empowering parents with tools and knowledge to reclaim their children's well-being naturally. She is a mother to 6 children, a soon-to-be wife, a founder and an advocate for health. She is Allie Christine. Welcome to the Skin I'm In podcast, Allie. So nice to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we've had some tech issues this morning, but that's totally fine. It's the world of podcasting and tech, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
They have a mind of their own most of the days.
Oh, most of the days. And mine's like missing for a lot of the time, especially with so much that's going on. But I mean, this year has been pretty amazing. And I have been wanting to talk to you since the first time we caught up because so much has happened where you are, because you're in North Carolina, right?
Correct. Yep.
So were you like a whole red state?
I think so.
I feel like the whole country was just red with like dots of blue.
What
I'm
it looked
really
like.
excited for you guys. Was watching the election night thing very closely. I was on Charlie Kirk's live stream for like 12 hours playing in the background while I was working. And so I was just hanging by a thread that day waiting for Trump to win in a landslide. And I thought of you as soon as that happened because I know how much of an impact having RFK in the administration will make on what you do for a living and just, everything that you're passionate about. So you mentor, guide, kind of help parents, I'm probably not using the right words, but basically support parents who want to detox their lives, live a healthier lifestyle with their children. What are some of the things that you help parents with?
So we talk about detoxing. We talk about good, whole, clean nutrition. We talk about minerals and how important minerals are, gut health, and how all of the toxins and heavy metals in our world today affect especially our children, but everybody really, but our children are being completely bombarded with them. And it's causing so many issues in our kids: obesity, speech delays, autism, sensory issues, ADHD, obesity, and we're even having kids now diagnosed with myocarditis. And it's just a worldwide epidemic that needs to be targeted heavily. So thanks, RFK.
Yeah, I'm like, fingers crossed, drain the swamp, clean house. Please come here and
Yes,
do it once you've done that. As an
absolutely.
Australian that is like, a patriot of what's going on, like a Trump patriot, I feel so passionate about, what has been happening in the United States. When I first moved there, I was 19, no, 21. I lived in Chicago for a year and I remember loving it. I still have such fond memories. And then I lived in Montreal for a little while, like a few years after that. And so I would travel back and forth to the United States. And so every single time I went, you would see a significant decline. And so I'm delighted is probably the word to hear that, that landslide win, and they'll do everything they possibly can to try and ensure that that's not the case. And I'm hearing all kinds of things about there's some governor or something in some place trying to count votes for illegals. I'm like, how is that ever a thing? Like, America's Spokane. Let it go.
Right. They won't. It's always some kind of scam or fraud, or it's sore losers, it happens.
I mean, hey, we've been at the end of that stick for quite some time.
We have, and look,
We know
you
what it
had your
feels like.
chance. Sit
Mm,
down.
yes, sit down and on your hands
You're in
and
you're in
shush.
timeout.
You're in time. Yeah, it's the craziest things are coming out of the States, though, and I'd love your opinion on this. I know that we have a lot to talk about, but I'd love your thoughts on, because I know you're a woman of faith, and so am I, and there is this movement that women are now not going to have sex with men because they're afraid that their rights are going to be taken away. I'm kind of excited about that. I feel like this whole promiscuous era of women just sleeping around and thinking that's like a boss move. I'm hoping it would reduce that. So I'm excited by this movement. I never thought I'd support such a silly, like, toxic feminist movement. But what's some of the things that you guys are hearing about that? Is that even on the radar?
I've seen that. I haven't heard a lot about it, but scrolling social media, you do tend to come across, and I've seen several of those posts, and I'm like, what a temper tantrum you're having.
Right?
Like, really? And who are you hurting by doing that? Nobody. You're helping, because you're right. Like, now the whole promiscuous movement will stop. That never should have been started in the first place. I mean, you see some of these little 9, 10, 12-year-old girls running around in crop tops and booty shorts, and you're like,
What
where's
is
your daddy?
happening? Yeah, where's your dad? Exactly. But it's a
Because if
shame that we
I
have to
would have
think,
even
where's your dad?
bought something like that,
Yeah.
my dad or my grandpa would have been like dragging me by my ponytail. So yes, it's exciting, but it's also like makes you wonder, like, where the maturity level went. Like, you're grown women throwing a huge temper tantrum, boycotting that for what? And nobody's even taking away abortions.
No.
Like,
But
not that
what
I,
rights are being stripped? No, well, I mean, and I've been watching that closely because I'm like, has Trump ever said that he's taking abortion rights away? And he hasn't. JD Vance has
no,
reiterated that. It's not even a topic of conversation, but if that's all you're going
no,
to run your campaign on, didn't she have like an abortion bus or something at one of her rallies? I was like,
yes,
what
she
is
did.
happening? Outside of horrible, horrible situations, right? Like traumatic, like things like rape, sexual assault, incest, or if you know that the child in your tummy is you know, heavily like there's a lot of abnormalities and you have to choose between raising a child that could potentially literally not have much of a life and in your first trimester. I'm not
Right.
about anything after that 12-week mark. Like, what other reason would we need abortion so desperately unless it's because we just don't want to have to take responsibility for the fact that, we're having sex with people that we probably shouldn't be outside of relationships and not using protection? Like, what? Please help me work out what other reason a woman would need an abortion.
I I don't know. Like, I can't figure that out either. Like, what when did that become the new birth control?
No.
What that's and as somebody who had one at 19 because my mother was like, "Oh no, this is not happening. You're going." Mine was extremely traumatic. Um, laying on the table telling, "No, no, no, I don't want to do this. Stop, stop, stop." And her screaming, "Come do it quick for she changes her mind," and not even being numb during the thing because she wanted them to hurry. That's a very traumatic experience that took me years of working with therapists to even like cope with, because of the guilt and the shame associated with that. I could never imagine using that as a form of birth control or even an option anymore. Like, what? And we're throwing a temper tantrum over it.